I think it's like when we focus on the present moment, that's where our attention really is needs to be, in the sense that that's where our release is, and we're not thinking, rehashing the past, or we don't have regrets coming up. We don't have grievances and the blocks. When we're right in the now, we're truly present, then that's our moment of freedom, our moment of happiness and joy and peace. And it's also good because we don't it's easy with the ego to get caught up into future imaginings, what's going to happen in the next 2 hours, or what's going to happen tomorrow. It's the planning aspect. And one thing that really struck me when I was reading lesson 135 in the workbook, which is the longest workbook lesson in the book, and he said, don't uh, activate the past, organize the present, or plan the future. And that was like a direct thing for me. That's like Jesus giving like three commandments very quickly. Don't activate the past, organize the present, or plan the future. And I think for many of us, we could say, wow, we really dedicated a lot of time to those three things, which are now we see them as blocks. But before, they seemed to be practical, realistic, pragmatic. We were really buying into those before, but now it's like in the present moment, we have the freedom to let those go.
Um, it's funny when you say that because my first reaction is to write it down and say, I'm going to plan on doing that. Starting tomorrow, starting tomorrow morning, I'm going to put my plan into action.
Yeah, I know,
Um,
that's it. That's the
the,
old way.
the ego really wants to take charge, uh,
Yeah,
almost all the time. It seems.
yeah. Yeah, I think one of the things I've been focused on more with this present moment experience is when I do kind of live events like we're doing now, or we do some on the weekends, call them revivals. But it's a remembrance. It's coming back to that remembrance that we have everything, we are everything. We need not look outside ourselves. We need not try to interpret the world, because nowadays with the internet, I mean, there's so much news. It seems like there's so much data. There's so many things that seem to be coming at us. And when I listen to Jesus, he just says, "Stay with me, stay with me, and look with me, watch with me." It's a very simple, direct connection, and it's not like I have to then go out and try to sort through all the data, all the media, all the things that are there. That can be exhausting, and I think that's what Jesus meant by activating the past, organizing the present, and planning the future. There's the past is over, and I feel like what the teaching of Jesus is, even though he says the script is written, I think one of the lessons that really struck me deeply was lesson 300 in the workbook, which is, only an instant does this world endure. And what he's teaching us is that everything we perceive, like lesson number 7, I see only the past. Everything our five senses are perceiving is the past. And the Holy Spirit corrected that. That's why present grace is what we join with, the grace of God, not through works. We don't try to do enough things with the body to earn our way back to heaven. Like, am I good enough yet? Did I do enough? And all that stuff. But it's more like really sink back and say, well, if the Holy Spirit corrected this dream, and my sole responsibility is to accept the atonement or accept the correction, then I think that's where my attention needs to be. And one of the things in the text, he says, you're not responsible for the error, but you are responsible for accepting the correction for the error. I read that sentence over and over because that is a ticket to innocence. That's a ticket to guiltlessness, to sinlessness, to really divine joy.